So welcome to the Donny Chain Gang with me, Matt Payne, live here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. It is going to be a busy night tonight. We're down in Watopia and we are heading around the Two Bridges route. Riders just starting to line up on the start line. It's looking pretty busy down there at the moment as the riders make their way down onto the start line for what should be one of our busiest rides so far this year. Let's see just how that pans out as the riders join. As the moment, as you can see down there on the start line, the message board starting to get busy. Russ's messages is always in yellow. Our ride leader for tonight, it is the one and only Russ Downing, and he is going to be taking us through all of the action. He's leading that group out, and I know Russ already making sure that all the guys and girls on the chain gang know exactly where they're headed and what they're up to, so the route distance is up. I'm sure everybody's been on the Facebook previously to see exactly what's happening and where they're going. So our riders lined up and ready to go. Our red beacon already in. Our yellow beacon is in there. Let's dive in with the one and only Bear, who I'm hoping is on the end of the phone line. Hello, Ross.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm good. It is nice and busy tonight. Lots of riders coming to join us on the Donny Chain Gang. And certainly it looks like we're getting a nice full pier side here in Watopia, which is always good, and a bit warmer in there than some of your rides of late.
Yeah, it's nice in here, about 13.6 degrees actually, so yeah, quite nice.
That's a steady away temperature, and it has actually got warmer outside, but that doesn't mean that everybody is just going to be getting warm on the chain gang. Of course, we've got some very, very quick riders on the chain gang. We've got some steady riders in there as well, and some newbies as well. So for those people who maybe haven't watched chain gang before or haven't ridden the chain gang before, quick intro for people of how the ride goes and what they need to do.
Dead easy, isn't it, really? Stay around Yellow Beacon. It'll be a ramped workout, and then it will be who dares wins at the end, but not until the old boss man calls go, go, go. So, just stay around me until then, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I love the way just stay around. That just do have to treat with a little bit of caution, given the speed that Russ can put onto the pace as the group gets wound up. So if you can't stay with Russ, if you don't manage to stay with the yellow beacon, you get dropped off the back. Of course, our red beacon is waiting to catch you, and it's one of our regular riders in the ship of Simon Runnett.
Yeah, he loves it. His improvement over the year or so has been amazing. So yeah, probably enjoys his steadier night at the back.
Definitely. So we'll see if that bus gets lots of action. I know he's put a multi-decker up on the gang, and what we need to remember is, of course, this is the last ride in November. So we've had two great giveaways in November for members of DCG gang. We've had the Gritty giveaway and we've had the OTE giveaway. We're now moving into December, and we have the 12 DCGs of December, and that starts off tomorrow.
December already, is it?
It will be tomorrow.
That sounds like fun.
Definitely. We've got a great giveaway. So if you are a member of the DCG gang, if you come and ride the chain gang, then we've got lots of prizes. A massive thank you to the team over at 1080 because they've done an amazing job of keeping all of the things coordinated. And we've got, I think it's around about £2,000 worth of goodies to give away to people out on rides and members. So going to be a busy old time. One thing that we should say before we go much further, of course, this is a busy week on the chain gang because we, of course, have the DCG today. We've got a WOW DCG tomorrow and then a DCG on Thursday as well. So 3 rides this week, although I have to say, 2 broadcasts. That means I get, I'd like to think it was a night off on Thursday, but actually over at the World Championship, so I'm actually working doing rehearsals, would you believe?
Sounds good, mate. We can all have have a nice night of just watching the Zwift screen and not watching and listening to you. But yeah, have a good night.
I think it'd be a great night not listening
mate.
to me, mate. To be honest, given the amount of time I have to listen to myself back, that's for sure. Right, we're going to get the map pinned up for people. We'll try and catch up with you hopefully during the ride. Russell, quite a bumpy one tonight, so going to be all about trying to keep together on these roads. There's some very quick descents off the tops, which can break the group up.
Yeah, I'm hoping my companion app decides to work, which it's not playing with at the minute, but that's pretty standard at the minute. So yeah, we'll have good fun.
I'm sure it'll be good. Well, good luck, Russ, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Cheers, mate. Have a good ride, but you're not riding, so yeah, have a good night.
Cheers, man. So great to catch up with Russ. Let's dive straight into the map as we get more and more people joining on to the gang at the moment. And got to say, the map shows exactly where we're heading. We are in Watopia. We are going around the Two Bridges Loop, and the total ride distance is 45k. Of that, the important things to remember here is 6 laps at 7.1k, 2 bridges each lap. The finish is at the downtown lap arch, and then we have the warm down to the blue banner to stretch people's legs off. Total elevation, 426 metres. That's 6 lots of 73 metres. So quite a hilly one today, but it is in a series of ascents. So the key thing is to remember is it's 7.1k, 6 laps, 6 times round. We're going to try and count them down. Key number to remember, 42.6k should take us into the finishing line. Now, Russ, as we've heard, up at the front of affairs. Simon Runnett is going to be bussing all of our gruppetto around and looking after everybody at the back. A massive thank you to everybody who has jumped on here. So let's see how they are riding. Now, as you can see, the map courtesy of Zwift Hacks and the information from the Zwift Insider. Big thank you to them. Great resource. Make sure you go onto their website. We're going to go on to something with even more stats, which is the Two Bridges Loop. And this is the Zwift Insider Verified Two Bridges Loop, courtesy of VeloViewer. VeloViewer, absolutely key. If you are a Strava member, you can get all of your stats and details. You get absolutely superb stats, diagrams, graphics from there. The key thing to remember is, as we start off here, we are going around this circuit in an anti-clockwise direction. So it's a ramp pretty much straight away from the start, in through the S's, a drop down to the bridge, and as we go towards the right-hand side, working our way from the Italian village around the back of the island to come back onto what is the reverse KOM. And you see that big section of yellow right in the middle of the screen. Well, that is the steep climb up and around that turn. We actually ramps out and we max out about 15% before we drop back, taking the turn through the spiral descent under the bridge and then back into the start. 6 laps of that to get everything on there. So 6 laps of the circuit. Make sure that you remember to count them down on the way through. Now, our riders are lined up and ready to go. You can just see just at the side of the screen. We are jumping in here. So remember, we're going to be able to see 100 riders, and that's the same for everybody. And there's 100 riders is the total way to see this. So you can't get more than that. We can't physically get more riders generated. That's the way that the Zwift game is produced, and that means that if you're at the front, you're not going to see the back, and if you're at the back, you're not going to see the front. Now, just seeing a number of riders, just watching the team in here, and it looks like we've got Damien Clayton back in again. Clayton, who's here for the week doing the business, and certainly looks like he's back into the game once again. So a reminder, 42.6, and that makes a huge difference when you are riding, that you know exactly how long it is. We always put a warm down in at the back. Remember, of course, 3 Donny Chain Gangs this week. We've got the Donny Chain Gang today, which is open, the same on Thursdays. On Wednesday is women's only Wednesday on Donny Chain Gang, heading into Greater London Flat. Really looking forward to that one tomorrow. Now, let's see who is going to take this on. The clock is ticking down. We're on 24 4 seconds to go. So let's jump in with our riders live here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne. The riders lined up, ready to head off into the distance. The question is going to be who is going to be able to get away from the gun straight away, who's going to be able to get into that group and form that group. Our riders are quickly away, and as you can see, the riders moving very, very smoothly off from the line. If we jump up into the sky with our helicopter, we'll just try and get a good view of everybody coming away from the line, just riding in, I think, with a number of our regulars tonight. Huge numbers up on the screen, so just remember the aim here is to stay around yellow. Our helicopter's just trying to track the riders through as they drop down off the ramp, and this is all about staying close to the yellow beacon, who you can see is snuck into the middle there. Our red beacon, well, that is Simon Runnett. We're going to just jump in with Simon. As you can see, the riders are peering around the side of him, and that is quite simply because that shows you the 100 nearest riders, and if we're focused on somebody at the front, we'll get the 100 riders at the front. The people who we can always see are the red and the yellow beacon, and everybody can always see them, so there's no excuses for not sticking around the people that you need to. Let's drop some stats in for Simon. So Simon in here and riding well straight off the group, and looks to me like just keeping an eye out for the riders behind him. Kieran Brown could definitely make his way in super quick, so motoring his way on. So Simon, Jimmy Allen just at the back here. So Simon's stats, 168 watts at the moment, 101 beats per minute. Simon riding currently at 30 kph. Top right hand side of your screen, you'll see the percentage of the increase. So the group are just heading out. We can, of course, move the screens around just to check the screens, and we'll just see just who is going to be where on the map. At the moment, the map is showing us that we have a zoomed out, a zoomed in, and our 3D. At the moment, just seeing Chris Idell of Velaskin. I think there's a bit of a drop out there, so Chris just out of action at the moment. He's likely to get himself back into the fold pretty quickly. In fact, looks like he's jumped out. He's going to be jumping back in again. So the aim here is all about making sure that the gang gets off nice and smoothly. And Simon doing that as he makes his way up here. Looks like Mr. Mulder, Barry Mulder, is in here as well. So just taking a little bit of a run through the gang here. Looks like we've got the one and only Nick Craig. Has Nick managed to change his bike, earn enough drops yet? Oh, he's still on basic kit here. So let's see how he's rolling at the moment. Certainly looks to me like Nick, 90 beats a minute and 119 watts. That's going to be pretty comfortable for him as he makes his way up. Tristan from Harrogate just alongside him here. Looks like the Bolsover squad got huge numbers out. So Julie Leodis just said hello to Maddie. I think Tracy, the Bolsover squad, making the way in with strength in depth. Just taking a little bit of a run up the road towards Russ. It is a little bit snakes and ladders at the moment, but you can just see as we run up towards Russ. We've got Ben from Veloview. Ben, of course, one of our key men in making the Chain Gang happen. We've got to say a massive thank you to Ben. All of the graphics on the Veloview graphics go out to the members in the Donny Chain Gang supporters email. This is going to be very interesting to see how he gets on. He's got all the stats. He knows exactly what's meant to be happening on the way through now. Looks like Lindley sitting in the group, in the gang. So our yellow beacon are currently just sitting about, looks like a few seconds back off the front of the group. But remember, it's all about keeping those numbers down to start off with. Keep that enthusiasm down to stay on the front, don't roll onto the front. It's absolutely key. Looks like the chat already starting on the beacon group, as we can just see Mr. Runnett, and you just see the riders dropping in between Simon and the back of the gang. So the front nicely starting to hold back and just let the group come in together here as they start to make their way up the slope. So it looks like we need to say hello to at least one of our regular members. Andy Halls, get well soon, mate. Andy has got the plague. He's got a big black cross on his door and not able to join us. So, Mr. Halls, please get well soon. Rest up. Don't do anything too soon, too much in a hurry, and hope you're feeling better soon, buddy. So, sad news that Andy got that, but Andy, of course, a very fit, fast rider, and if it was on nice guys getting better quick, then he's definitely one of those. So good to see that Andy's at least keeping his feet up and watching the screen at the moment. So the gang riding smoothly on the way through the bridges here. Just see Simon making his way across the bridge at the back of the gang here and making his way in through that sprint banner, looking particularly smooth. I think I'd see makes his way through. Simon, one of our experienced riders, somebody who we know is going to be fighting it out at the front regularly, also able to fight it out at the back. Good to see we've got lots of our regulars on here. We've got Lily Swan from the AEO team out and riding in here. Just seeing Sean Ferron back in the gang as well. Looks like Kieran Brown in the gang. Tristan, we've seen, got Matt Crease in there. Adi Dench is back in as well, so good to have Adi back in with us. Our riders are currently just sitting at the back of the pack. If we drop some stats in, we'll get a better view of where those riders are and just how spread out they are. So the gaps are opening up, that is for sure. So it's like Mantis just doing a little bit of a push on this group just at the back, having to push quite hard to get into the group. You can see some big numbers coming out from the gang as they make their way up towards the back of the group. If we jump in with the very back, you'll see them just off the back of the gang. You can just see Mantis just having to do a bit of a push up. Looks like Kieran just pushing on in to the front of that group. Looks like we've got Mr. Kerry in with us again. Good to have you back once again. And so the team all rolling nicely along at the moment. And as you can see from that helicopter shot, the main part of the group all together. Chris from Velaskin is indeed here with us once again. So the gang are rolling along, starting to reform quite nicely. Currently on the run around the village, just heading in towards our next bridge, which is not all that far away as we make our way up and through. Looks like Dave Owens is in here. Looks like Henry Fuller in the gang as well. And as you can see, just starting to make our way back to the next of our bridges. The group just about all together. Looks like issues for us just being distance off the back of the group with issues as he runs his way through. Simon losing his companion briefly on the way through, but looks like nicely into the group. Looks like Mason in here as well, Carl Johnson in the gang, and everybody ticking along. Russ just making his way up through the group, coming back into that pack. So an awkward course to ride super smoothly. As you can just see, just riding in with Jeff Saysell as he makes his way up and through the group. Looking to squeeze up alongside Russ. In fact, just sitting just immediately in front of Russ as they come through. So looks like a fair gang at the back, just getting to ready to hold everybody together. So whilst we watch our riders making their way up through the straights, time for me to grab some more of our Grand Tour coffee. Big thank you to Ben Jenkins, keeping us all fueled up and caffeinated on the run through. Looks like Bobby Mason in here, just saying hi to Dr. D himself. Good to have him on board. Just taking a little bit of a look. Just needs to squeeze it a little bit at the back. So the group just making its way up, slightly strung out, but as you can see from the map at the top, working okay at the moment as we make our way up this group, and going to be heading in around the top of the course and then dropping down in towards the line to go across for the first lap complete out of the 6 laps today. The one thing we do need to watch out for, of course, is that gradient as you come up. So let's keep a check on the gradient as we see Damien Clayton coming in. Just watch the numbers top right hand side very quickly coming up 7% at the moment, coming into this steep section of the turn, 8% now coming into 9%. You can just see it's kicking on 11% as you come around this corner. Absolutely nasty piece of road. Keeps on kicking, and it just starts to ease a little bit as you come up over the top here, and you can just see the gradient is super tough stuff here. Just seen a drop out, I think, for one of our riders, like Tracy Seeley, I think, just been distanced a little bit. Just may well be Neil, who's just been taken out of the back of the group with a drop out there. So the companion up being put to good use by Simon, our Yellow Beacon now, as our riders make their way up towards the top of the climb. They then take the left-hand turn. We're directly above the pier, in fact, and if we get the drone cam up and running, you can just about see the start gates in the background there. So you can just see as you look down, the start gates are directly below us. Our road comes across, we drop down underneath, over the bridge, under the bridge, and then back in towards the beach. And this is where the gaps start to open as you go up over the top of a climb, and the riders at the front are already accelerating. The group behind, they fracture as you go down and into that descent. But as we make our way down here, the speed really quickly picks up, and you can just see the pack well strung out. We drop down, we've bypassed the King of the Mountains, the short King of the Mountains, and now is the run down as we go down in towards town onto this big descent. If we pull up some stats here for Damien, not putting on the numbers here, just easing his way up. He's dropped off the pedals. Watch the speed though, 56 kph, 57, 58, already moving very quickly indeed. 61, 62 over that 40-mile-an-hour mark. Not actually touched this, but it is absolutely flying down here. 67 kph, it eases a little bit the gradient here, flattens off over the bridge, picks up once again just to start keeping that pace nice and high. And you can just see Clayton here just with the group at the back. Ollie Saxton in there, Matt Gilmore in there, all rolling the way down over the top. Bringing up the rear of the group here. Got a few seconds up to the group in front. And you do get a really harsh workout at the back after you get bounced about frequently. So Gilmore at the moment just dropping off the back a touch. That's one of these riders that we know are super fast rider. If we just jump alongside him, we can get a good view as he starts to roll into towards the group here in the yellow. One of our faster riders making his way down the straight, and he's timing it so that he gets a little bit of run in and running off the back in and through the group, which is a key way to do it. It's key to start at the back and work your way into the group, and then you end up stuck in the middle of the group by the time you finish, getting the most benefit from the draft using the least amount of energy. So there's a little bit of a run through here. So Johnson in here looks sort of like Gareth Mason in. Let's have a quick check of Gareth's bike. Full disc and aero front wheel. Interesting choice. Personally, I'd go something slightly lighter on this course just because of that horrible steep section of the climb. The rest of it, though, very flat. Always interesting to see what Jimmy Allen has on the bike. Jimmy going for the lightest disc setup, aero frame as well. So 5 more laps to go as you hit the line this time. Saxton making his way along. Looks like Tom Elliott in there. Gareth Lysis in here. Eddie Denshire riding well. Oh, interesting. Now, Jimmy Allen has gone for deep sections, not for discs. Apparently, the Zwift not showing the changes being made to Jimmy Allen's bike. That's very interesting. So gone for basically a very similar setup to the one I would have chosen, which is, says a lot about the ride. Hopefully it's great minds think alike and not fools seldom differ. Now, good to see Stefano Borelli. And here's Stefano, of course, from Nonna's in Sheffield. Best place to go, eat any place, anywhere, anytime, full stop. And Stefano, of course, helping us out with the 12 DCGs of December of Christmas, the 12 DCGs of Christmas, and that is going to be coming out to members and riders over the next 12 Donny Chain Gangs. It kicks off with our Women's Only Wednesday tomorrow. Our Thursday giveaway, well, we're going to have to postpone that slightly just so that, because I'm not there to actually pull back the door of the calendar, the event calendar that contains our goodies. It is going to be the following Tuesday, so a week today, when we go on to our second giveaway, and that is going to include the third giveaway, which is our Nonna's hampers. We also got the same fantastic Christmas goodies, and that is got some products that if you're one of our youngsters, you're going to have to pass on to mum and dad. But loads of great food, lots of great drink in there as well. Some really amazing food. A massive thank you to Mauricio and to Stefano of Nonna's for those, and they're going to be going out next week. We've got lots of great goodies on that 12 DCGs of Christmas, definitely. Yeah, just watching the squad riding around here. Gail Phillips tucked into the group, and Gail, another of our regular riders, and she was out riding regularly over the weekend on Zwift, jumping in some of the spin-off rides. Looks like Taylor in here as well. We've got a number of our Taylors, this one being Ruth Taylor. Ruth due to compete in the World's Masters Cyclocross at the weekend in Ipswich. And that is what we want to see. Getting a few spins in, a few miles in, just out on the ride at the moment. So the gang are riding well together, and you can just see if we use the helicopter shot over the top there. If you make it out through the mist, the gang nice and tightly together, and that's going to make a big difference to how the riders are able to ride, because the more it is tight and clean and close, the easier it is for everybody to race. It's only taking us 1.25 laps on the way through. Map top right hand side, you can see we're just coming in to the drop down in towards the bridge. We go across the bridge. This is effectively what is the sprint bridge, and then we head in through the villas once again. Gang riding well all together here, which is what we want to see. So the group coming in over the bridge are looking smooth. Just seeing, I think it's going to be Lily Swan in that Aeonian race kit. Lily, a regular rider on all of our rides on the women's Donny Chain Gang, the Women Only Wednesday Donny Chain Gang as well as the main one. You can see as this group comes through, the leading group all stuck together in the pack. A gap to the Red Beacon. There are actually riders all the way from the back of the group to the Red Beacon. Can't see them. That's quite simply because of the 100 rider render that Zwift push up onto your screen. So the gang are coming through, and looks like the pace ticking along nicely, and just slowly building at the moment, which is what we want to see as the riders head out here on the Donny Chain Gang. So into the Italian villas we come. The group are riding together well as they make their way around those turns. We're going to jump in. It's about 15 seconds down to Mr. Run It at the moment, who's getting a little bit of a lonely ride, but there are some riders just dotted in between as they just push up. Our Red Beacon at the moment can just see groups in front of him, and at the moment just chasing in on his own. Meanwhile, the group at the front just watching Laura Lawson making her way up and through here. So Lawson touched right in on that yellow beacon, another of the Aeonian race team. Joining us, somebody who didn't have such a great day at the regional cross championships, and again a rider that we are due to see a ride in the World Championship Cyclocross. Looking forward to actually catching up with a lot of riders down at the World Champs. That is going to be a lot of fun catching up with everybody down there. Just keeping an eye on the rest of the group as it comes through. Certainly looking good, and absolutely raining thumbs up down on the riders at the moment as they make their way in and through. The group looking really good here. And you can just see this is the leading 100 riders right up to the front of the gang. If you take a little bit of a look behind, we'll just drop back to our red beacon, then we'll be able to get a good view of the riders who are at the back 100, because all of a sudden they are likely to drop in. So just one rider off behind, and then you can just see, just taking a look up the road, Simon that's got at least one rider in his rear view mirror. Just going to take a little bit of a check who that is. Looks like Martin Bolt jumping on mid-ride at 2.7 watts per kilo. He's going to have his work cut out. So one of our real regular riders, Martin, at the moment at the back. We'll see whether the yellow beacon is going to hold on, because it is certain Mr. Bolt jumping on the back. So Martin just trying to make contact with the back of the gang. So it looks like the bus going to form at the back. Just seeing Martin Bolt, the man who's done more red beacon duties than anybody else, jumping on in. So just starting to get dark here. We're going to take a little bit of a run up through the riders now. So looks like just in front, Mr. Iredale, currently 11 seconds up on the group here. So just taking a little bit of a look at the gang there. Iredale just trying to push on. Then Tristan just working his way up here. I think he started right at the very back of that group, just having a little bit of a leg stretch, moving his way up. Taylor Leach in this main group. Looks like Mr. Mason in here, one of our more gravitationally challenged riders, just tucked into the group as they start to make their way up in towards that really nasty corner that takes you up towards the top. And this is where it's all about trying to stop the front of the group being able to charge off and distance those at the back. Easier said than done on this course. It's a really, really tough course, and all that climbing, 426 metres, makes a big difference, particularly when it keeps on coming in time and time again. The bus at the back forming, and the bus on its way in, coming in towards the turn as the leaders start to make their way up over the top at the moment. So Tim Leary in the group. Let's see Tim in the gang. Andy Verrill's back in with us. Fiona Marshall, Ruth Taylor, Ben from the squad. Looks like Ruby Isaac, one of the lightest riders in the gang, nicely tucked into the group as well. So Ruby nicely up at the front. She came up over the top and now just sitting alongside Lily Swan. Lily riding for the AAO team has got in the gang right on the heels there. I think Tracy from the Dunning Chain gang is in here, and I think Tracy Seeley with a change of jersey going over to the green jersey and the green aero frame, the green track frame with the aero wheels. Nice set up to ride the chain gang, and this group descending super fast. So the front of the group descending off the hillside and dropping down into town. The bus forming up the back, we call it the bus, it's the Gruppetto, the autobus, the group that will run in with our red beacon. Looks like just see Mr. Runnits in this group here, and looks like the squad just dropping down. So Runnit here, it's got I think one rider just in front. That's going to be Mark Tickle. The two riders together forming our Autobus. Just taking a little bit of a look behind. Looks like Martin Bolt just about to jump on. So that's going to be a group of three who make it back together again as we just drop in with Martin as he drops down this hill. So you see the yellow beacon though making its way into town. So we've got Martin Bolt, we've got Tickers, we've got Runner in the gang a little bit further up. Potts just pushing on to the back of the gang. That time gap showing at 31 seconds. Pretty insurmountable, it has to be said, between the front and the back. You can just see the back of the group is fractured all over the place now as went over the top there. So if we take a little bit of a look back, you can see riders in ones and twos. Damien Clayton, Chris Iredale, looks like little in that group. Looks like Potts distanced by the group. Hunsley's distanced by the group as well. The gang have stretched out on the front. So you can see at the moment these riders having to push to get into the back of the group here. They're putting out some big numbers, trying to work their way back up to the main section of the gang. That gang just a little bit strung out on that descent and across the run past the line now, just starting to come back together again. The gap now sitting at a minute back, so we've got Sean stroke Simon Runnits. We'll give him both his names. He's actually Simon, but he gets Sean from me for some reason. Definitely Sean in my head. As they go on the straight. So Mr. Runnit currently sitting at about 1 minute and 5 off the back of the group. Sandwiched in between, you've got Mark Tickle, Martin Bolt, Andy Skelton. You've got Hunsley, Little, Iredale, all in the gap in between. And certainly it looks to me like the man who's having to work really hard. It's one of our newer riders onto the gang. It is Hunsley just trying to work his way in. So Paul Hunsley at the moment, distance from the main gang. Another of our newer riders at the moment. And you see decent numbers coming out of these riders, but the power of the gang, speed of a group together means that it will always accelerate up and start to distance those behind. So looks like Scotland and Hunsley forming a second group on the road, currently sitting at 15 seconds off the back of the main gang. We've got, they're currently about 54 seconds in front of Simon, our red beacon, and the bus, which is Tickers, Bolt and Runnit. Then just taking a little bit of a look, most of the gang just about all close together. So good to know we've got Dale Williams, a super fast rider who we regularly see on the gang. Claire Richardson back in with us, another of our very fast riders. I think Claire on the left-hand side of the bunch there. Claire, definitely one of the riders who we know will be right up in the mix as we come in towards the finish. Good to see Barry Kipling in here, Barry, one of our super fast men. Lauren Lawson from the AO squad tucked in here. Hawkins in, Paul Malley's in the gang here. Sort of like Taylor tucked in as well into that group. Singleton in there. And you can see this group not doing silly numbers, just ticking along nicely at the moment, just holding that pace. Steve Hilbert in the gang. Good to see Mr. Watson back in. Kuzlix is back with us. Tracy Seeley in there. Just keeping an eye on these riders coming through. Looks like Ian Bale in the squad as well, so we're just taking a little bit of a run back here. Chris Gale in there, so Bobby Mason in the gang. Jeff Sayson just tucked in and around Russ at the moment, just running in the middle of this group and the gang. Nicely pulling back together again as to go up over that climb. We're about to drop down towards that bridge. So here we go on the descent. You can see on our map the yellow beacon currently on the descent, the red beacon just about to come into this turn. Our helicopter up and flying, and as you can see, the team working well because they come into the bridge, come out of that tree cover. Just following Russ on his way through this straight. Then the Donny Chain Gang continues onwards, the front group, but holding together reasonably tight. Really key to ride this as a ride where you try and stay at the back of the group. If you can hold around the back or around that yellow beacon, then the pace stays smooth all the way along. If you end up on the front, it's very easy just to yo-yo up and down the pace. So the gang working well around the back of the villas. We'll see if we can get hold of the one and only Russ Downing. I know Russ busy getting the messages in and out through everybody. Not always possible to get through to Russ if he's busy on the gang, but looks like we may well have the one and only Russ Downing the Bear. How are you, Russ? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
It's looking pretty good. We've got about 5 riders off the back, so a 3 and a 2 just starting to make the way on. And although those numbers not silly on the front, it just shows the power of the pack working together. It really is easy to lose contact and then get distanced.
Yeah, you know, we're behaving just, you know. There were some people did a cheeky little sprint there, but we won't mention no names, you know. We're all rolling around at 12, 14, and some people do 10, so quite sure what they were doing, but we'll leave them be.
I think the key thing is if people want to sprint, the fastest times and the way to get quick is to go from the back of the group to actually literally drop to the very back and then use the pace of the group to bring you through and still save energy for later on in the ride, because of course there's a long way still to go.
Yeah, if they want to sprint, they may lose their legs later on.
Definitely, it's very rare we see the people sprinting early in the group at the end. And this course, it's bumpy, isn't it? And it's those rises and drops that split the group.
Yeah, you know, it's literally over the top where it turns to gravel and then goes back down to a seafront. It's so horrible to keep that tight there, and people just get gapped and think, but I think we're doing well here, you know, considering I've got no companion app as well. You know, I'm typing with a keyboard that's in darkness in front of me, and I'm like, you know, as if, yeah, it's all good fun though.
It certainly looks like it's rolling along well. You've actually managed to do a little bit of recovery whilst you're talking to us, which is never good for everybody else. So we're going to let you dive off and jump back into the group, and hopefully we'll catch up with you a little bit later on.
Yeah, have a good ride. What we got? 26k to go, 32 minutes on the clock. So yeah, stand by your beds.
No, do you hit it here first? We'll let Russ get his head down and pick his moment. We'll catch you soon, Russ. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
So great to catch up with Russ mid-ride. You can just see our riders up and over the bridge. Russ took into the back of the main group on the way through, heading back to our red beacon. So our red beacon at the moment, currently 2:11 down. 2 riders just in front. This is going to be Hunsley and Scotland. Riding well together at the moment, and then looks to me like Leary and Crease just behind the gang, just going up on to the hill. So you just see at the moment, Ruby, come on, go, time to push up. Ruby Isaac's one of our really fast riders, and when it goes uphill, Ruby definitely a rider to watch. One of the lighter riders here, and she's soon going to be working her way up through that group as they come onto that steeper gradient. Away on the flat sections on the downhill, Ruby are having to work really, really hard indeed, and just watching as she makes her way in through. You can just see very quickly up towards the front of the group, and that is quite simply because she's got that pace, she's got the speed to work her way in and through. Great riding by Ruby. To get herself into the bit. She needs to be on the front for the downhill because she literally will be distanced on the descent if she's not. And that is all to do with the dynamics of Zwift, literally keeping a check on everybody. Good to watch Gary Licence in here, Vin Donohue's in the team, Shelley Charles in here, Vin Donahoe's in here. Gale, we've seen Andy Farrell. I'm guessing he's probably in his Belgian kit. Let's have a little bit of oh no. Now, interestingly, he's gone for the same kit as Beefy from Cycle. Cycleways there, so Colin Bell is in that same kit. So it looks like teammates for the night. Andy Farrell. I can think of much worse people to be in a team with, that is for sure. Mr. Forey down in there, John Garford in the gang. Of course, John, one of our riders who was a winner during the OTE a week that's just gone, getting the indoor training bundle from the OTE squad. So the gang up over the top, and you can just see the front very quickly into this descent. We're just taking a little bit of a run back through the group here. Dale Williams in the pack here. Dale, of course, a regular fast man. Always good to know what Dale's wearing, and looks like he's looking pretty quick at the moment. The 53.11, while he uses its good effect on that sprint, and that is a certainty. One of the very fast riders as you head out now. If you're at the back now, it's the time you have to push. If you get caught out behind the gang, any distance, any group, any gap, then you're going to be in trouble. So just watching Kerry, Borelli, Catley, Sadler, Luke Allen just being distanced here. Going to be in trouble. It looks like Owens and Johnson just being distanced to touch. Daisy Freer tucked into the group. Daisy, another of our lighter riders, just dropping down here on the back of the group. Going to have to work hard as the group starts to fracture. And if we take this the camera, you can see the leaders already going down around that turn. As they make that banking up underneath the bridge they go. And there are a number of riders who are going to be in trouble here now. Chris Iredale, a rider who's regularly been right up at the front, not in the mix tonight, not having his best night. The Velaskin man tucked in there. You just see Shepherd having to push hard. If you look at the numbers coming out of this gang here, we've seen 5s, we've seen 6s. From the riders as they try and work their way up to the back of the group, but you can see that Yellow Beacon already heading back round towards that line once again. 21k covered here, 36 minutes in. The gang riding well at the moment. Looks like Brad just starting to get distance here. This is the back, I think, of the main group. Indeed it is. So this is the back of the main group currently with Gibbons, but you can just see it's fractured all over the place here, and a big split opening up as they went over the top, not close enough over the top of the climb to be in touch, and it looks to me like it's between Jeff Cecil and the group behind Sadler. Deja Allen may be able to get across here. So the Jeff Cecil's got the power we know sitting at 7.1. That's going to be in trouble. Looks like Hawkins now starting to be distanced to touch here, and Hawkins jumps quickly onto those wheels. Hawkins kicking out 250 watts, 4.6 watts per kilo from Hawkins here as they try and get themselves back on. This is a group could well make it here. They are giving it some big beats here. This could be good for these riders if they can stay with Cecil, stay with the gang. They've got to push here, so looks like Hawkins getting a run in here. Cecil's going to do some seriously good drafting to get the gang back together. Well done, Jeff. Nicely done, buddy. He's just pushed hard there to get the gang on. We'll take a little bit of a run back, so looks like our intrepid trio, our triumvirate of talent at the back of the gang at the moment. This is the Red Beacon bus, which has got all of our riders together in front. Then we've got 3 riders now at 1:33 on the Red Beacon. That is Mr. Hunsley, Paul Hunsley, along with Andy Scotland and Matt Crease in there. So those 3 riders together. 29 seconds in front is Leary. So Leary is just in front. Then it's going to be Shepherd, and Shepherd has got about 30 seconds on Leary. Then Simonite with Ruby. It looks like Ruby Isaacs. Looks like Ellsworth up there as well. Tristan from Harrogate in that group. So Little just trying to squeeze it into the back of the group. Catley the same, Johnson the same. You can just see the pace on the front just starting to fracture people at the back of the group. The key place to be is sat in with the Yellow Beacon in the middle of that group. You don't want to be leaving it too late. Young Tom Lindley in here. Apparently, actually, Tom's older than anybody. He just has a rejuvenating formula that he uses week in, week out. So only looks young, apparently. Apparently, he was around in the 1723, I think it was apparently his date of birth. But I'm not sure I believe that one. Still always going to be young Tom Lindley. So the gang just about holding on the front. The back, definitely not. It is all over the place. We've got riders scattered all over the place. Look at this. You've got Scothard and the gang. You've got Leary in there. You've got Shepherd, Distance Isaac, now Simonite, Aldsworth, Catley. Looks sort of like Tristan from Harrogate, Carl Johnson, Brad here as well. Let's take a little bit of a look here. Looks like Brad just having to push on here to get back into the pack. Don't lose that draft. 6 metres is the gap you can have. After that, you're in trouble. 3 minutes 32 to our beacon. Our red beacon about to hit the line as they come in and through. Remember, it's 42.6. So we're basically getting into the halfway marker as we come through. And gang's just starting to form, so Ruby needs to find herself a group here to jump into. So does Mr. Simonite. And looks like Catley and Aldsworth, just putting up together at the front. Looks like Tristan and Johnson are in there. So Daisy time to kick on. Don't get caught out by Freewheel in that downhill and losing the group. That could have been a dangerous move there by Daisy Freer on that freewheel. Now got a work cut out. You can see that gap has opened up. Daisy's going to have to put a big kick in here to get up with the group. Well, I think Chris Gale's going to have to do the same as well. So if Daisy and Chris can work well, they've got a chance of coming up to the group. You can just see them coming through now here. Freer on a lightweight bike, so that's going to be of benefit on the hills. It's not going to be of benefit when you're on the flatlands. Gale now having to work hard as well. Just on this little drop down in towards the village. It's only minus 1% and then kicks back up slightly. So let's have a little bit of a check. So it looks like Andy Scott and Tim Leary, Paul Hunsley in their mattress. We've got 4 riders now, all together. 4 riders together. Then a 1 minute up the road looks like Sam Shepherd. I think it is Sam, if I remember correctly. Just with Ruby Isaacs just behind. Ruby needs to jump onto Sam's wheel here. Let's just get set on that wheel, hiding behind Sam. All about jumping into a group, trying to find a wheel to sit on. Simonite's got Aldsworth up the road, John, then Johnson, but they're all doing solo rides at the moment. Then Daisy Freer at the moment, chasing Tristan, then Chris Gale. You see the back of this group, it is fractured to pieces. Neil from the Crosscast, I suspect, dropping out. And Neil, of course, racing at the Masters, heading down very shortly to Ipswich, a bit like myself. Great to record the Crosscast. The Crosscast is the cyclocross podcast, and the Crosscast, well, we've recorded it today, it will come out very, very soon, and that's exactly what we're looking for. So Tristan having to push to go back into the end, and of course when that Crosscast comes out, don't forget, download it, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you get a podcast from. You can pick up the Crosscast podcast. Neil, myself, and Bruce Dalton. Our views, the news, and our opinions on things cyclocross related. So the group coming over the top of the bridge. Scott Barrett tucked in here, Hawley in the group. They can't afford to let the gap go. They need to get on the back sharpish here because they're going to be in trouble Ronnie's just trying to squeeze on here, and the gap will open even though they're going onto the climb, and the speed of the front is going to slow off. You can't afford to let that gap go over the line. There you go, and it's a go from Russ. So the go has gone on the way into the climb. Absolutely mean place to go. We're going to run with Dale Williams. Dale, one of our power riders, one of the men who's been taking wins and sprinting. We'll see if he is able to give it enough beans to stay up with the lightweights on the front. Just watching John Wild put in some numbers, and a big early kick, 26.6 on there. Basically got 42.6 is the number that we're looking for, and you can just see Damien Clayton has gone early. Clayton had a solo to victory when we were out on Yorkshire. They let him go, and he made the most of it. They couldn't close him down. He tried the same tactic when we were in France on our new route over in France, and he was not able to do so, getting closed down and out sprinted in those final few meters to the line. It was a thrilling chase to watch. It was great to put words to the action to. Now Clayton has gone off on his own. Matt Gilmore is the rider in pursuit. You can just see he's got the rider in his sights in front. Behind him, though, big pack of riders coming, including Russ Downing, trying to make his way down that straight and get into the wheels of our race leader. At the moment, though, it's Clayton on that descent. He's got the speed, he's got the power behind that chasing pack, currently sitting between about 13 and about 14 seconds. Big old group, though, descending down this slope. Well, the gap's just starting to open up here. Just seeing little in there. Varty, Adi Dench in the group. Looks like Dale Williams in there. Just seeing Kieran Smith, Scott Easter is in. Easter, of course, having a good ride at the weekend. Then it's 5 seconds back behind this group. It's going to take a little bit of a look who's in this group. So this is now the second of the groups on the road. Containing what looks to be Lily Swan in that group. So just giving a check on the riders coming through. So Jess Saysal in here, Isaac Oliver, Lily Swan, Russ Downing, all in this pack. Danger Allen just yo-yoing about a little bit at the back. Kieran Brown off the pace at the back, just having to squeeze on to get in there. Saxton going to be in trouble. He needs to make a move up here. The group behind are at 11 seconds behind, and he's got to really push to get in. This is group number 2 on the road. Group number 1 are going to be able to see them coming behind. You can see them behind. So we're riding with group number 1. They've got Damien Clayton in front. So Clayton is in front and being closed down as they come in towards the line. He's the rider in front behind. The second group is about to make the junction and close that gap down. So Clayton goes through on his own. Behind, though, group number 2 just being caught now by the group in front, and 2 coming together very close now. Clayton in trouble because he's just been caught back. They are right behind. Let's see who is going to go on the attack. Remember, still plenty of time left in this ride. The go happening early now. Little goes on to the front and pushes his way up that climb. Starts to just stretch the legs out. Doesn't want to let the pace drop too low. So he makes his way up here. So just watching Little now. He's got 12 watts per kilo. He goes for the dig in here. Tom Lindley is going for it. Those legs that were forged in 1723 now starting to stretch their legs out here as young Tom Lindley goes up onto the front, closes down. Little says, having some of that, I'm going to get quickly onto those wheels. Next rider coming through is Clayton. Clayton goes getting Lindley, tries to go with him. Kieran Smith sits on the wheels and he jumps on very quickly indeed. Nobody wants to let any of these riders go at this stage. They know that it is very, very dangerous. Still plenty of laps left. Remember, it's 7.2k per lap, which means that we've got just a little bit under 2 laps left to go. This, the front group, if we take our drone cam up in the air, take a little bit of a look backwards, this is effectively the leaders. This is all that is left of the original gang at the front. Behind them, then, the riders in 1s and 2s. So if we follow this leading group back, the main leaders stretched over. We're going to try and get towards the back of that pack. And I think we're going to find separated by about 12 seconds on the road, in fact, from front to back here. Another split just starting to form between Group 1 and Group 2 again. Behind them then it's 17 seconds back to this next chasing group. So this is the second big chasing group on the road. Ben from Velo Viewer looks like the team coming in together well. I think we've got Claire Richardson here, Laura Lawson in here, Nick Craig in group number 2 here, Shelley Childs in group 2 as well, Ruth Taylor riding in group 2. So a real good mix of riders. Got Swift in there, we've got Hutch in there, looks like West is in there. This is a big group now. So this is the second chasing group on the road, sandwiched in between this group and our leaders. Well, we have a solo rider in the shape of Kieran Brown on the mountain bike. Then we go up to our leaders, and that leading group are all together. Now, are we going to see somebody attack on the climb? Are they going to go on the descent, on the run through the sprint? At the moment, though, the group pretty much all together behind. Looks like Kieran Brown about to get caught by the chasers behind him. So it looks like Scott Easter from the Magspeed team now in the mix here. Who's got the power? Everybody knows it's got quick down here. Looks like that's going to be potentially Collier starting to lead it out. Scott Easter tucked in to the group. Kieran Smith in here. Varty in there. You can just see personal best coming raining down on this group. No surprises there. Russ tucked in just about. Saxton just about in there. Lily Swan from A again, the female sprint jersey. No surprises there. Currently the 6th fastest time and the fastest female time on the way through. Just keeping a check on these riders as they come back in together again. That group going through the tunnels. And looks like one rider just distance at the back could find themselves in trouble. So our leaders making the way in through the villas. Russ down and back on to the front again. Takes the group through the cobbles and through the Italian villas past the fountain. They'll soon be up to the main waterfall section and then heading out on the climb towards the big climb at the penultimate time up that climb. Remember that we have about 1.5 laps to go as they make the way around the back of the Italian villas. 1.5 laps to go. Who's it going to be? Should come out of this leading group who are riding their way through strongly at the moment here on the Donny Chain Gang, live on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. And this group looking good at the moment. Everybody looking like they're sitting in there comfortably. Neil Birmingham, Isaac Oliver, John Potts in there. Tatchell was in the group. Eddie Dench, James Little, John Wild in the group. Rob Varty in there. We'll just keep an eye. Luke Danger Allen in the gang. As Russ just rolls his way to the back of that. It's 37 seconds back then. And just being led through. This is the second group on the road. Chasing group number 1 at the moment. They're trying to get back in touch with our leaders. At the moment in that leading group, you can just see Craig Genther just kicking his way clear of the group at the moment on these roller coasters. Just keeping the pressure on at the moment. But soon going to be closed down, I think, by the group. It's a little bit too far out at the moment. That we're coming up towards that bridge very shortly. Now when we hit that bridge, we're going to be onto the climb once again. Somebody's feeling particularly strong, they may well go clear. They may want to just try and drop the group down. So just riding in with Craig Gether, Russ Downing on the back, 2 riders in that Downing Cycling, their coached kit behind Nick Craig now leading the chase. This is group number 2 on the road, so 2 groups formed, separated by the bridge. Group 1 to group 2. Separated out. Group 3 is the Chris Iredale group and the riders behind. So this is essentially group 3 on the road. So Sam Emsley, Tracy Seeley in this group, Gareth License in there, Raccoons in there, Tim Cooper's in that gang as well. riding well there. It's going to be the McDermott group behind. It really has formed into blocks of riders as our leaders now start to make their way up onto the main climb once again. Just riding in with Potts, and it looks like Jimmy Allen's going for a long one here. He started off early, but look who's gone with him. This is so dangerous. Allen has gone, and he's got Clayton now. These two work together. What a duo. You've got the sprint power of Clayton. You've got the long range attack power of Jimmy Allen. Lindley's moving up with him, and all of these riders you can just see going to be in trouble if they let this go. Matt Gilmore's seen that danger. He's already started to close that gap down. Allen now being distanced from the two leaders. He was the instigator of that series of attacks. It's broken up once again. So at the moment it's Clayton in one, it's Gilmore in two, it's Lindley in five behind, just trying to chase down Kieran Smith along with Jimmy Allen. Clayton's got a little bit of a gap. Then you've got Wild, you've got Oliver in there. Williams maybe paying the price here now. He's not going to have worked too much on that climb. He's definitely got the sprint power. Has he got the staying power to bring this group back? It is strung out properly now between front to back. I make it 25 seconds to the front of the group. 25 seconds to the front of the group at the moment. We're just going to see if that's what it looks like on the ground as we go through. So Gilmore leading, it is indeed. It's 28 seconds now, so two riders together. These are our two leaders. It's Damien Clayton, young Matt Gilmore. Gilmore goes underneath the bridge. They are 1 and 2, 16 seconds behind. John Wild currently on his own. He's got help coming, but they're not coming quickly enough. That gap now at 17 seconds it goes up to behind. You've Lindley, you've got Allen, you've Smith, you've Genther, Birmingham, Isaac Oliver's in the youngster. It's Eddie Dench in that group as well. Kieran Smith in there, Rob Barty just about making contact. Saxton's working hard. Looks like the rest of this group could come back together here. You've just got Lily Swan tucked into the group as well. And this group here need to push. They've got to push now. Choppin and Seyssel need to use that power if they've got it to get into the pack. They need to be back in that yellow beacon group. This is the main chasing group behind two leaders with 1 lap to go when they hit the line this time around. Now, same as Thursday. Definitely not same as Thursday, that is for sure, because we've got some big hills in here. We've got some big climbs, and the roller coasters are going to make life difficult. I'm loving the messages. Russ is giving out the message. He's dead on his knees. I'm not surprised with that pace, but we've still got 17 seconds of work. Now, is it just the bear bluffing, or is he really in trouble at this moment in time? Let's see what this gap does. Genther still working hard up on the front of this group. So Birmingham in the all black on the orange Tron bike there. Tucked in nicely. Swan on the Aeonian kit, the green left side, the blue right side. Riding on the Cervelo by the look of it with the aero wheels in there. Isaac Oliver also in the all black, just watching Little coming up to the fore now in the yellow and black kit. But the inroads that they're making, they're not making enough here as Genther in that Downing cycling kit comes up onto the front. The gap has gone up again, 21 seconds now as this duo continues to extend the lead. And unlike last week, that gap is not coming down, it's going out. And it's going to take a concerted chase back because it is relatively quick. It feels quick. It's 40 or so kph, but it is not as fast as you would see on the flatlands in France, and that is why they managed to pull it back so fast. Now Little doing his turn on the front, using that aero advantage just to try and drag everybody along here. You've got Dench, Oliver, Wild, all queuing up, all wanting to have a go, all wanting to put the work in. Middle of the pack, you've got people either biding their time or cooked. Take your pick. It's very difficult to tell. We can't see just who's in trouble at the moment. But this group at the moment not staying with Little as he continues to push in over the top. Now 25 seconds back. They're not going to get caught from behind here. Just watching Oliver just do a bit of a turn just to push over the top here. These riders are working well at the moment. Just see Chopin just trying to keep the group in touch here. Swan and Aeonian kit, that very distinctive green and blue with the pink triangles on there. Just on the side of the group, Adi Dench took to the side. Look at this, Clayton and Gilmore going again, going hard. 8 watts per kilo. So Clayton looks like he's just trying to distance young Mr. Gilmore on the way through. And has Gilmore gone pop here? 3.4 here. So Gilmore with a little bit of a gap to Clayton at the moment. Clayton is, I think, a little bit tapped in the head to leave Gilmore behind at this stage. I don't think that's a wise move at this stage, because Gilmore, although he can climb quick, you need the work of 2 of them to stay together. So Gilmore, at the moment, has got Clayton there, just coming up to Simon Runnett and Mark Tickle. So the leaders about to see our red beacon. They're going to get a grandstand view as they come through of Clayton coming in through. So Bolt and Co. Seeing Clayton as he comes up on them, goes round the side there. Clayton at 6 watts per kilo as he makes his way in and through. Behind him is Gilmore, currently set at 7 seconds. You can see the chasing group behind. They're working hard now. Gilmore is 22 seconds up on this chasing group. This is the pack behind Matt Gilmore, the pack behind Clayton. And you can just see that they are pushing, but they're not pushing quick enough. They are doing damage to them. They're starting to see riders being detached off the back of the pack now. Here they come in to the Villas, just working the way in and through. The chasers are working hard up at the front. Clayton now extending his lead over Gilmore. Currently now got a 10-second lead on Gilmore. Gilmore back though. Well, Gilmore at the moment still with 21 seconds to this group as they make their way up this slope here. Certainly looking good as they come through, up through the villas here, and the chase really is on from this pack. Clayton though leading this ride out once again. He's coming up to the junction, which means he's not far off, heading in towards the bridge. Look at the numbers here: 179 watts, 179 beats, 180 beats, and currently just flicking his way up and down at some pace at the moment. So you can just see top left of your screen there. Big numbers coming from Clayton. 15 seconds back is Gilmore. Gilmore's only got 17 seconds on the group, and that's where that yellow beacon is. Young Mike Gilmore's got to give it some beats now. The chase behind, while the work is being done here by Easter and Swan at the moment. And there's probably a good argument that some of the big hitters like Kieran Smith, like Dale Williams, the guys who are renowned for their sprint power, need to start to put a little bit of work in here, because they are in danger of completely losing this. They know that Clayton can climb. They know that he's putting attacking up there. The last 2 laps, they're going to be in trouble if they don't close down that gap. 16 seconds from Gilmore to Clayton. 15 seconds back to 14 seconds now to the group behind. So Clayton now heading in towards the main climb. You can see that yellow beacon. That is the main group sandwiched in between. It's not going to be so much for long. It is going to be Gilmore. Gilmore now within, I think, 12 seconds. They can just about make out that pink Tron bike. There is an advantage of riding in subtle kit as you move your way up. So you can just see this is the chasing group, Gilmore and Clayton, the 2 riders in front. Now, are they going to be able to get rid of some of the big sprinters at the back out of this group? Are they going to close down the gangs? Downing now starts to go on the attack. He starts to push here for a man who said he was dead. He's putting in some big numbers as he gone pop again. Meanwhile, Clayton coming up towards the top of the steeper section. He's over the crest. You can see the numbers starting to go to yellow. Gilmore's coming into that steep section behind him. Here comes the chase. Here comes the group. They're coming at speed and they come in quick. It's going to be John Wild from Velo Viewer who goes over the top. The man behind our graphics now with the leading chase behind Clayton, but time is most definitely running out here in a big way because Clayton has gone. He's gone over the top. Wild and Smith along with Williams have to go now. They are going to be first loser to Damien Clayton unless they pull something miraculous out of the bag. It's the length of the cut across from the way up the mountain to the way down, and we're now down on the ascent. 29 seconds back, 30 seconds to Birmingham. They've got to give it something incredible now to get that gap back down again. They start to come onto that same part of junction. The gap is yo-yoing at 30 seconds to Clayton. Clayton now coming round the turn. He's going to be onto the bridge. He's already just let it freewheel to get maximum speed on the way down without having to put in too much effort. 33 seconds is the gap. He's got 8 watts per kilo, nearly 7.5 coming out as he comes round these turns. Remember, he's going to go back underneath the bridge. And as he comes in towards that bridge, you can just about see the riders behind it going over the top of the bridge. You can just see that yellow beacon going up over the top behind trying to chase down Clayton. Clayton's our leader. Wild's currently in second place, but Clayton is who's going to be leading them down into the straight here. Clayton looking very smooth indeed here. And certainly it looks to me like we're going to see Damien Clayton come and take another victory here. Got a couple more riders on the way through. I think Andy Scott and Ruby Isaac going to see Clayton coming through at absolutely rocket speed at the moment, just closing in on Isaacs and Crease as they come through. Damien Clayton looking like a man on a mission here as he comes into the straight, still holding 26 seconds. He goes over the line. Damien Clayton takes it. Absolutely storming ride by the pro on the front behind now. The sprint is opened up. This is between Kieran Smith and Dale Williams. It's going to be Kieran Smith who's going to get this. Kieran just eases up as he hits the line. Kieran Smith, then Williams, then Wild, Birmingham, Allen, Scotland, Lindley. Lindley's going to do them on the way through. So Lindley goes over the top. Isaac Oliver goes through with Little Easter. Goes through with Downing. Those riders are just making the way in and through. Looks like Lily Swan just on the way in here. She's got company of Deja Allen in front of her. So it's Deja Allen and then Gilmore behind. Gilmore's coming fast here. Swan sprinting as well. They're all in danger of taking out Luke here, but Luke is going to just get it. So Luke gets out. Then it's Matt Gilmore. Then it's going to be Swan. Nicely done. Brilliant to see the pace coming in here. Now we're looking for our next riders coming in and through the finishing line. This is going to be a real kick in. We're in with Potts at the moment. This group are going to go for it, and it's going to be Varty who's gone with Elliott up at the front. Elliott in the pink. Now Morn goes. Morn has been putting in some storming rides. We're going to try and get back to him as fast as we can. Morn is doing a sprint every single finish here. And boy, has he done it again. Through the line he goes. He takes it. Varty, Taylor, Elliott and co. Potts comes through Conley West. Looks like Nick Craig coming through in the gang there with that squad. Claire Richardson on her way to the line. Great ride by Claire. She comes through the line there. Another storming ride by Richardson. Looks like Lawson's not far off the line here. So the Aeonian rider, Laura Lawson, comes through. That was a kick out and a half just before going into the World's Cross Champs. So Greenway's going to be our next rider with Shelley Charles behind. Then it's going to be Chris Seidel, Taylor Leach and Sam Emsley. Is it going to be a sprint between the two? It is going to be a kick up here just with Leach and Emsley, and Leach. Taylor's going to just roll in for it there. So Taylor gets that. Then it's going to be Mantis coming through. So Mantis pushes on. He comes through the line ahead of Caulfield. So Caulfield really pushing there. He comes in and across the line. He's ahead of Tristan. Tristan comes through. It looks like Clark in and through the finish. Dalglish has done the same. I think it's Mr. Dalglish's birthday, to be honest, today. Happy birthday, mate, if it is. I think I caught that on the way through, scrolling through earlier on. Now, just going to take a little bit of a run back down the gang here as Ian Bale and co coming through. Gareth Licence comes in across the line. Tracy Seeley, another rider who keeps on improving in and through the line. Now, I think we've just dropped back far enough off the line. Ball goes through, so nicely done for Chris, one of our winners on the Scott's Sports Week. Mr. Pearson kicks for the line. He's going to be ahead of Donohoe. Donohoe comes in front of Matt Nunn, and then Gibbons and Sudbury. Then Liam Callaway, Langmead, Wilson, Dixon Moore. Now looks like Sparrow goes through just ahead of Clark there. Then it's going to be Mulder and McDermott. Wow, it's fast. There's a lot of riders, and it is boom, boom, boom all the way in at the moment. Not many gaps between them. Our next riders on the way in is going to be Kerry and Ben from Veloviewer, not Ben's normal territory. So Ben from Veloviewer just being distanced here by Kerry. Kerry's got the gap behind him. Dubash leading the sprint out from Kipling, Fulton and Marshall. And Dubash is coming quick here. He's got some big numbers. I don't think he's quite going to make it before they get to the line. As they come through, Kerry just holding that power on his way into the line. So Kerry goes in and through the line. Then it's going to be Dr. D, followed sort of like Ben eased up before the line there. Man, what's going on? Then it's going to be Fiona Marshall. So good to see Fiona coming in and through. Fiona, one of two Fiona Marshalls on the ride. Just seeing, I think it's going to be Ruth Taylor on the descent leading this next group in. So Taylor at the moment has got Barrett behind. Barrett now puts in a big old kick here. Can Taylor respond to it? Can she get on the wheels? Immediately behind is going to be Evans and Briggs. So looks to me like it is going to be Barrett from the Tenby Aces who's got the lead coming in. He put in an early attack hit there, a big dig as they came off the corner behind them. Then it's going to be Taylor, Cannon, Evans and Briggs tight behind Ruth there as they come in. It's going to be very, very close between all four of those riders, but our next rider is going to be Barrett coming through the line. Then it's going to be close here. Are we going to see getting rolled here? Oh, just about. That's going to have to go back to a photo finish, that's for sure. Evans, Taylor, Briggs and Cannon going through there. Great riding by all of our riders as they come through. Chris Gale in and through the line as well. Cheers, Neil. Thank you very much, bud. So just watching our riders making their way in to the line as I've just keeping an eye. It's like Mr. Westerstock. So Foray is going to be our next rider. So Foray at the moment our nearest rider heading in for the line. Then we've got Hutton, Taylor, Ferron and Lone Rider coming in. So Foray going through. That is a brutal hill climb profile on the way through. Really is hard to stay with the group. Good riding by Mr. Foray, who comes through just ahead of Hutton. So John Foray, Elise Home, Das Hutton. Then it is going to be Mick Taylor, another of our Bolsover riders, also have a gang doing a great job on the chain gang. Then it's going to be Sean Ferron. I think Sean not needing to sprint. He's ahead of freshly 50 Mr. Topless and Lone Rider. So Sean Ferron goes through. Good riding Sean again, comes through clear of this gap behind Julie Leodis in this gap, sprinting in for the line. So Tez, Leodis, rider, Hawkins coming through. So Sarah Hawkins coming through the gap, Bobby Mason in that group, Williams in there. Next of our group in is going to be Maddie Smith. So Maddie and Keith Hayward, our next riders heading in to the line at the moment. Maddie Custon of the Bolsover Riders puts a big sprint in here, 8.5, 8 watts per kilo. Final little kick there, wasn't going to get rolled on the line, just goes in ahead now of Keith Hayward. Then it's going to be Sir Rodney coming in, and looks like Sir Rodney's got a big old gap on the riders behind, so well done to Sir Rodney. We're just going to have a little bit of a run back up the road. I think it's going to be Verrill and Freer, and this may well be our cue to see if we can grab a word with Russ Downing. You never know, he may well be on the line somewhere in the great big world of space. Meanwhile, Verrill and Freer on this descent together, just dropping the way down. Let's run across. I think we've got on the other end of the line the one and only Bear. Russ, how are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. A bit cross-eyed, but we're all right.
That was a another run in, and we've got to hand it to Damien Clayton. He might be annoying at times, but blimey, his legs don't have to do the talking properly when they have to.
Yeah, he's a man on fire. He's had a great couple of seasons, and he's just getting back going. Ready for next year. So yeah, he's having some great workouts. Says on the chat he's been waiting for this all day. So yeah, thanks for that, Damo. You've been waiting for it, and we've been dreading it. But yeah, that's another story.
Definitely, and doing an amazing job, and great to see Kira going at it there, and I think Dale Williams just getting rolled all the way through. Fantastic riding in that group, but the groups behind and in your group and the groups behind have been coming in steadily. They stay together, they work together pretty much to that last climb, and then when it went bang, it's just left bodies all over the place. Just seeing Andy Verrill now with Daisy Freer, and Daisy in great company with Andy Verrill, let's face it, a real workhorse for cycling and for riders for so many years, really.
Yeah, go back a long way with Andy on different teams, and then he's out in Belgium now, so he's still looking after riders, and yeah, great name of the sport. We won't mention that he's got a fear of bridges. I'm just crossing one of the bridges, so I don't know actually how it goes on online, but that's another story.
Maybe he closes his eyes when he comes in and through. Just seeing the gang on the way through. Just going to try and work our way up to the rest of the group. We've got lots of people actually out on course. We're just looking to see who's going to be our next rider in. Carl Johnson's come in the cross line, so well done to Carl on his way through. I think Ronnie's going to be our next rider in. It's really tricky because, like we said, absolutely shattered everywhere, but some amazing riding and great to see. We've got our women's only on Wednesday tomorrow. I don't know whether we're going to see the riders on there, but I mean, Sammy Stewart in that sprint to the finish, putting a really big kick, putting a great ride. Claire Richardson right up there as well. Laura Lawson, some really quick rides there. And the Women's Wednesday is really introducing a lot of riders to the chain gang, which is part of the idea of putting it on, let's face it.
Yeah, we put it on so they can have a bit of a taster tester, and then a lot of them are doing three gangs on the bounce, so they're absolutely loving it. So thanks for the support there, but tomorrow they can thrash it out themselves, and they can have a really good workout. Emma does a great job of controlling that. Tomorrow, Greater London or London Flat?
It's Greater London Flat, which means it's a relatively flat. We've got the bumpy roll in and then the 3 laps, so going to be really interesting, and it's very different. And one of the things we've really found since we started putting it on is the way that the avatars respond when you've got a bunch of people who are the similar build and a similar size and the same gender. The bunches respond differently, and it is just like in real life. The two bunches do definitely work differently depending on the ride, and it's two fairly different workouts because of that. But great to see just the chain gang spirit on all of them. We saw people, we've got our red beacon behind Mr. Ellsworth working hard. Tim Leary, a winner on the chain gang last week, coming through just ahead of one of our new riders, and this is going to be Paul Hunsley just coming in. So Paul doing a good job today, just about managing to stay with that group until one of the rollers, I think, caught him out. But it's a learning experience. I mean, Nick Craig said that he's learning all the time on the chain gang.
Yeah, Nicky Craig there's no trick he doesn't know in the book. So for him to say that he's learning Zwift, it shows you that it's a game in itself. So it's great to have Nicky on board. Legend of the sport, and he's loving it. So don't know where he was tonight. Wasn't in there, was he?
He was in the third group on the road, I think. Second group, maybe. I might be doing him a disservice. I have to go watch it back on YouTube. So just seeing Clarion Steve coming through. He's ahead of Andy Scotland, who's our next rider on the course. Just taking a little bit of a check. I think Ruby Isaacs is not too far behind, but these riders making the way down. Ruby doing a great job of staying in the group until it went really quick on one of those downhills, and that's the illustration of just the difference in size makes on this course. Once you go on those downhills, it's so hard to stay with the wheels. If you're a lighter rider, just like it's hard for us bigger riders to stay with little lightweights like you, Russ, on the climbs.
I don't know. I think I looked up, 3 laps in, and Ruby was tapping it out at 5.5 watts per kilo, just dancing on one of the steep climbs. So I was like, what's it like to be young and light again?
Yeah, Yep, not a lot of weight, but plenty of power. It's a great position to be in. We're going to let you get some recovery done because, of course, you're back on Thursday. And Thursday's route, can you remember where we're heading? I've got to just quickly scan through my brain cells of where we've actually said we're heading for the second of the standard chain gangs.
I think we're off back to Innsbrucken, leg snap.
We are, yes, well remembered, Russ. Innsbrucken. So Innsbrucken round the leg snapper. Going to be an interesting one for a Thursday because it's definitely not flat with all that climbing.
No, the leg snapper is, as it says on the tin, it really hurts, and over the top it drags out. But I'm sure we can have a good fun. We don't always have to have a flat Thursday.
No,
so
definitely not.
We designed all these routes for Gareth Mason, and he's not playing at the minute. So
he was there tonight, although he wasn't there to the end. So
he was there, and then he was messaging me 10k to go through. Couldn't have been doing much.
Messaging is not always a good sign, is it? So just seen Andy Scotland heading and through. Looks like Mr. Owens just running his way down and in at the moment. So we'll let you dive off. Don't forget, everybody, make sure I'm sure Russ will be watching tomorrow on the Women's Only Wednesday, the first of our 12 DCG giveaways of Christmas, the 12 DCGs of Christmas. With 1080 Ian Taylor doing an amazing job of grabbing together a whole host of people and prizes. Over £2,000 worth of prizes giveaway over the course of December to riders and to members of the DCG gang. So great to have Ian involved in helping us out with that. Definitely one of the good guys of the sport. And that's going to be on the Women's Only Wednesday, which Russ gets to put his feet up and watch.
Yeah, can't wait. I think I need a rest after that, coughing and barking. Yeah, we're going hard there, so. Yeah,
excellent.
I'll watch it online and hopefully the companion app works, but yeah.
We'll see how many messages you manage to send over. Well, cheers for us. Go get some recovery done, mate. You've got Thursday to ride, and we'll catch up soon.
All right, mate. Well done, everybody, and good luck tomorrow on the WOW DCG.
So great to catch up with Russ on the chain gang once again as we watch Ruby Isaac making her way in towards line. Ruby doing a great job tonight, and as Russ said, tapping away up that climb, putting in some serious power on the way through. Looks good on the climbs and riding well. Aero wheels on Ruby's bike, so clearly moving her way up through the levels as well, getting more drops points on the way through. So Ruby Isaac here on the Donny Chain Gang makes her way in and through the line. I think that's going to leave us our Red Beacon and the bus behind. I think Mark Tickhill going for a little bit of a breakaway here. 21 seconds on Simon Runnett. Runnett got Bolt on his heels here. So the Red Beacon got the man who's done more Red Beacon duties than anybody else. Martin Bolt behind. Tickhill, though, has gone for it. He's got the gap at the moment, and there's nobody in sight behind him. So Mark Tickhill, tickets from the Sitwell CC, stringing this gap, opening it up at the front, trying to make sure he gets as much distance between him and the riders behind. Another big kick from Mark there, just pushing it up. And he knows that gantry is going to be coming. This is the view he's got as he comes into the line. This is what he'll be seeing on his screen. He knows it's not far. He knows it's on his way. And in he comes now, out of the saddle, kicking for that gantry. Comes into the line. Mark Tickhill goes over the line there, and he's got a gap. 24 seconds he opened up on our Red Beacon group. Here they come. So Simon Runnett going to be leading home. Martin Bolt back on the going again. Good to have you with us, Martin, in the green here. So Martin Bolt pushing to the line. Heart rate just kicking up, just making his way through. And Martin, the man who's done more Red Beacon duties than anybody else on the Donny Chain Gang ever.com, making his way in. And good to have Martin back with us on the Chain Gang here at the last ride in November. Simon Runnett, well, what can we say? Our Red Beacons, our volunteers, doing an amazing job time and time again. Without our Red Beacons, the ride is almost impossible. To call on the commentary and beat for our riders to finish if they need to be able to jump in. So Simon doing an amazing job tonight. Thank you very much, Simon. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed it today, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have 2 more rides this week. We have our WOW DCG, the Women's Only Wednesday, Donny Chain Gang tomorrow. We have no broadcast, but the ride will be rolling as usual on Thursday on the Donny Chain Gang. That's at Innsbruck Ring. We return after the weekend, and we'll have more prizes, more giveaways on the Donny Chain Gang as we run up into the end of December. A real 12 DCG of Christmas to come. Make sure you join up if you want to get all of the insider information prior to the rise, all of the heads up of the routes, the distances, the course profiles, where we're heading, where the finish is, just how far the warm down is, and of course a little bit of an insight from me, as well as great offers and discounts. You can join the DCG Gang, the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club, just for 1 month. You can join it just for December, and that will get you into all of that information, and of course the Swift links direct to your doorsteps, direct to your inbox as soon as we have them. So I've got to say a massive thank you to our riders. Brilliantly done from the Donny Chain Gang, from Russ, from me, from everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow with Emma on the WOW DCG. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow on the Donny Chain Gang.